Yeah, so we had a question from Jordan, just basically just our team of the season so far. It's been a weird season, so who makes it our 1 to 11?
Okay, cool. All right, Reece, I tell you what, do you want to start and then we'll hear Becky's and we'll kind of sort of chop it up?
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, for me, I get to see Newcastle play more than most sides because they're my team. But I think it would be hard to look past Carl Darlow as the keeper of the season so far. I think
Okay.
he has been absolutely
Okay.
tremendous. I think
Becky is just like, oh, Carl Darlow, all right.
if we look at it from a performance point of view, I think he's been the best in the league. I mean, possibly Alex McCarthy has been very good as well.
Yeah,
But if we look at it from a statistical point of view, guy's made the most saves. He's got the highest save percentage. All his stats also back up what I'm saying. I mean, it helps that we're the most defensive team in the league, and he faces the most shots, but he's still dealt with them really well. And for a stand-in goalkeeper as well, um, you know, it's an exceptional standard that he's playing at. And so much so that he's now keeping our first choice goalkeeper of the team. So him, McCarthy, and Emi Martinez, these keepers have been brilliant, but I would pick Darlow. Don't worry, that's the only Newcastle player that I'll be picking because he doesn't play outfield.
Yeah.
At right back, I think Soufal from West Ham has been very good. I think that picking him in part is due to the usual suspects having underperformed. You look at Aaron Wan-Bissaka, who's not been great. Reece James, not been brilliant. Ricardo Pereira hasn't been fit. Trent Alexander-Arnold, I think, lost the ball 38 times in one game the other day, which pretty much sums up the season that he's having. And so Vladimir Soufal has come in and I think has been very good. You know, he bombs down that wing for West Ham. I think we gave him a scathing review at the start of the season, and they've come back strong. And he's doing the business, and he's basically doing the exact job a fullback should do, and that's support the attack, but be a defender first. And they have been good, and they're having a good season. Centre halves, I've gone with Bednarek for Southampton.
Yeah, good shout.
Being an absolute rock at the back for Southampton. Ralph Hasenhüttl is doing a great job, and he's been absolutely tremendous as well. The other centre half spot was up for grabs. I was tempted to put Diaz in because of recent performances, but I think on the whole, Thiago Silva has probably earned the spot at centre half. He's been very, very good and consistent throughout the season, especially when I think a lot of people wrote him off as well. So it's good to see him come back against that. Left back, I went with Chilwell. Surprised me how well he's been at Chelsea, how well he's bedded in at Chelsea. He's been exceptional going forward. And despite their recent form, Chilwell has been one of the better players in those games. I was going to say Alioski of Leeds, but they've been shambolic defensively, so a fullback's got to take part responsibility for that. My three midfielders, I went for Højbjerg of Spurs.
Yeah,
made the most passes in the Premier League. I'm not a big fan of his game, but we can't deny that he has made Spurs tick this year.
Yeah.
And sitting next to James Ward-Prowse, again, James Ward-Prowse has been fantastic. His set pieces, as always, on point, and Southampton are doing well. He's driving the team forward. He's been brilliant. And then obviously Bruno Fernandes as the standout player in the team. His numbers have been up there with Messi over the last calendar year as a playmaker. And you just cannot find fault. Well, you can find some fault with him, but in terms of his numbers and performances, you absolutely can't. So he's in there. And in my forward three, I actually omitted Son, which I thought was harsh. Yeah, I thought it was harsh because Son has been absolutely phenomenal this season. But I've gone with Salah because his numbers have been brilliant. Liverpool have relied on him and he's delivered. I've gone with Zaha again because basically, as he always does, he's held Crystal Palace on his back, and it seems that the penny has dropped with Zaha this season. He's starting to get the kind of numbers that he needs to be in the conversation for moves to big clubs. He needs to be a 15-goal a season man to be able to do that, and he is on target to do it, and he's very good. And again, I feel bad for leaving Son out, but I'd have to say Patrick Bamford. The guy has just got the goals for Leeds. You can say what you want about his performances, but he's banging goals in for fun for a newly promoted team. So why not put him in?
Yeah, good show. What are you saying, Becky?
A couple of surprise entrants into that team, if you ask me. But everyone has an opinion. What I'm going to do, I'm going to tell you who I have picked rather than not everyone that I didn't pick, like Reece, and the 7 in the team. I won't go as in depth, but I was surprised at Darlow. I went with Martinez for Villa. He's got the most clean sheets in the league. He's brilliant for Arsenal last season. Villa signed him and they got exactly what they paid for. He might not have the highest percentage of save or something like Reece said. I get that, but he's just been brilliant as Martinez. Right back, I went for James Justin.
Okay, good show.
I think that obviously Leicester, they've sort of maintained their good form from last season. They're in the conversation yet again. Do like James Justin. He's a decent defender, gets forward a lot, picks up quite a few assists. I just like him, and Reece said that right back spot. There hasn't been as many sort of people pushing to put their name in a hat this season, so he did stand out for me. I did agree with him on Jan Bednarek. For all the reasons Reece said, I won't repeat those. I did go with Ruben Dias. Yes, he has been better in the last sort of 6 games than maybe he wasn't in the earlier part. But I think he's part of everything good that's come out of that this sort of new good City defence that we've been seeing sort of the last sort of month or so. So he gets in for me. Left back, we spoke about him earlier. I went for Tierney. Yes, Arsenal for the first sort of half of the season so far they were shocking, but I felt when Tierney came back, he'd always put in. He was probably their best player in most games, and as of late, he's sort of come into his own with the team getting better. He's looked brilliant going forward as well. So he gets in at left back. Midfield 3, it is fairly attacking. Bruno Fernandes, I don't need to say much else about him. You can go on any social media site and you'll do well to scroll more than about 10 seconds without seeing a graphic about his penalties or stats or assists in games. So I think he's probably the absolute shoo-in for this midfield. And supporting him, I've gone for Harvey Barnes.
Good show.
I think he's been brilliant this season, Harvey Barnes. He's got 5 or 6 goals, a few assists. He's brilliant at running forward, as Harvey Barnes, isn't he? He's quite good at bursting forward.
He's deceivingly fast. He's deceivingly fast. He's faster than he looks.
It's one thing to be fast running, and then to be fast running with the ball is a totally different kind of speed. And I'm starting to rate him a little bit more. Jack Grealish, as the other midfielder, they're sort of a bit of an interchangeable midfield 3. It's quite attacking, so they'll get at you, this team. But
scores loads of goals, gets caught on the counter. It's fine.
Yeah, they'll get at you. But if you can get the ball of them, which is a big ask, then we are in trouble. But that's the way I like to play. And
there's been a lot of penalties as well.
Yeah, and there'll be arguments over who takes it when you do my front 3 as well. I've gone for Salah. Like Reece said, Liverpool haven't had their best season. They've had injuries, but he's been consistent with his goals. Harry Kane and Heung-min Son, I've put in there as well. Kane and Son, Spurs and the Mourinho don't really play the most expansive football, but when they have opened up and gone at teams, them two have been world class. Son, we spoke about him before. He's come into that world class conversation. Harry Kane was already there. They love assisting each other. It's like a game almost. It seems like. That's my lemon.
I wrote down a quick 11 lads too, right? Just off the off some of the names you were saying, and I've remembered a few. I've gone with Martinez in goal. Walker Peters at right back, done very well. Saiss at Wolves, terrific young player. Ruby Dias, and player that I like actually at left back that I think is very underrated is Cresswell at West Ham. West Ham have done okay. I like Cresswell. He's a solid player. In midfield, I've gone for my boy Neto. Neto at Wolves. He is. You're looking at a young Eden Hazard there. That boy can ball. Fernandes, and whilst he was sort of fit and firing, James Rodriguez, I thought he really turned the Premier League upside down to begin with. I think Everton missed him a lot.
I thought of James Rodriguez, but he just never carried that form on.
Yeah, do you know, injuries kind of curtailed him a little bit, but he came with a point to prove, and he started to really prove a point. So
It's a good
yeah,
summary of his career as well, to be fair.
yeah. You know, it does sum him up in a nutshell. But he's a very good player. I think he's done well. And then my front three are Kane, Son, and El Ghazi.